Yo, what it do, financially lit fathers? Listen, today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 benefits that I got from starting a business, becoming an entrepreneur, particularly the type of business that I run. I run it from my home, and I didn't know all of these benefits were going to come my way. In fact, like most people, I started a business because I just wanted to make some money, man. Not necessarily that I wanted to be my own boss, but I just knew that there was a cap on the type of money I could make on a job, and I wanted an unlimited potential for income. So I got into entrepreneurship, and then once I got into entrepreneurship, I kind of started to understand some of the benefits of having a home-based business, which I'm going to share with you as one of my top 5. But there were some hidden benefits that I got that I didn't realize that came along with being an entrepreneur. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, real quick, if you do not know me, I am H. Cortez, also known as Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur and founder of the Financially Lit Fathers movement, where we're on a mission to raise the financial IQ of working fathers all throughout America, all around the world. And we do that by preaching the gospel of entrepreneurship, because there's so many benefits. But more importantly, we just believe that in order to really become the type of man that you are destined to be, you've got to have control of your finances. And one of the only ways to get control of your finances is through entrepreneurship. So what are my top 5 benefits that I gained for becoming an entrepreneur? Let's start with number 5, right? Number 5, I had an opportunity as an entrepreneur, and if you become an entrepreneur, you have this opportunity as well. MD stands for model different, right? So early on in my children's life, they got to see me being a model employee. I rarely missed work. I came home and I showed them my actual reviews, so they saw how I was getting raises and promoted on the job. So I got to model how to be committed to a job and do what you're supposed to do and grow in a career, right? But when I became an entrepreneur, I got a chance to model something different. And this is my personal opinion. I think it's past the time that we do that, right? There's enough models for my children to see on how to go to school, get a college degree, start a career, work a job for 30, 40, 50 years, but they rarely get to see up close and personal the ups, downs, ins, and outs of entrepreneurship. And I believe it's important for them to see that. I think the school system only pushes one agenda, that is get a job, right? And if I brought out the conspiracy theorists in me, we go back to the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and those folks who helped found the school system for that purpose, right? If you follow the money, then it's quite clear. What do you see? Well, how does big business get its money? How does the government get their money? Well, big business makes the majority of their money leveraging the labor of an employees, and the government gets its money by taxing employees. So it only makes sense that the entities that fund the school system create what they need the most, which is employees that government can tax and employees that big corporations can put to work for them in their companies, right? So I think it's past time that we show our children something different, namely entrepreneurship. Also, there's very little in showing our children what trade schools could do for a young person as well, and I think that's incredibly important. So modeling something different is my number 5. Number 4 on my list is P&F. What does P&F stands for? P&F stands for the sense of pride and fulfillment that I get as an entrepreneur. I remember the first time that I sold my first $1,000 course, right? I remember shaking in my boots when I pitched the offer, but I knew I could deliver value to this person far beyond the $1,000 that I was charging. But the psychology that's associated with selling a product or service, particularly one that is a little bit higher in price, man, I can't tell you after I got over the jitters and I made my pitch, stood on my offer, and they was like, shoot, yeah, man, I want to do it. And they joined my coaching program for $1,000. And that sense of pride and fulfillment that you get when you take something from your head, your intellectual capital, and you package and present that to the marketplace, and the marketplace actually receives it. Man, there's nothing else really like that. So I encourage everybody to get in, at least give entrepreneurship a shot. Whether you stick with it or not, I think knowing what that feels like and at least giving it a try is worth doing. Next on my list is number 3, BF. What does BF stands for? Listen, believe it or not, becoming an entrepreneur has made me a better father. You might be saying, well, Cortez, how does entrepreneurship help you become a better father? Well, think about what being an entrepreneur actually involves. Leadership skills, communication, sales, marketing, branding, networking. All of those things help me develop a voice that I even use as my children are now grown. My youngest son is 22 years old, right? So as I'm leading from a different place in their lives, the leadership skills that I develop as a entrepreneur, I got my entrepreneurial journey started after I graduated out of the streets and left that foolishness alone. I got into network marketing. And then in network marketing, if you know anything about the network marketing industry, any network marketing company worth its weight in salt has a good personal growth and self-development program attached to it. So I read books like Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big, How to Win Friends, Influence People, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all of these types of books. And they literally helped me become a better husband and a better father. So that benefit I was not looking for at all, but I'm certainly glad that I was able to bring that stuff from entrepreneurship, and it's helping me become a better father. So real quick, we got 2 more to go, and I just want to remind you guys, if you are new to the channel, take this opportunity, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit that bell notification so that you get notifications from us when we go live or when we drop new videos if you like this type of content. And also, I got a free masterclass on how to get your financial breakthrough this year. So there's a link in the description for you guys to go check that out. So number 2 on our list, what does LT stands for? Lower taxes. Man, listen, a lot of us don't understand that taxes is actually our biggest expense. And the reason we don't understand it is because we kind of think it's one of those things that set and forget, and we don't even think about it. So if I ask anybody what their biggest expenses is, or biggest expense is, most people will say, well, it's my mortgage, Cortez. And if you don't have a mortgage, you might say it's your car note. You might say it's your student loan payments. Well, no, it is actually your taxes, believe it or not. And people challenge me on this all the time. So I get it if you don't quite believe it or understand it, but 40 to 50 cents out of every dollar you bring home goes to Uncle Sam in taxes, right? And I say Uncle Sam, that's inclusive of all taxes, not just federal taxes. But if you think about it, if you're making $40,000, $50,000 a year, you're probably in a 20% tax bracket on average, because we do have a graduated tax system. But the average taxes might be around 20%. Well, guess what? If you live in a state where there's a state tax, then guess what? You're going to pay another 7 to 9% in state tax. Let's just say it's 7%. So you got 20 in the feds, 7 to the state, so you're already at 7%. Now, if you live in a city like St. Louis, New York, some of these bigger cities, they also have a local tax. That's another 1%. So now we're at 28% already. Well, guess what? You're then going to pay another 7 to 9% in sales tax on everything you buy. Let's just call it a smooth 8. So 28 plus 8, what is that? 36%? And guess what? You got real estate tax if you own a home. You got personal property tax if you own a car, a motorboat, or a trailer, or anything like that. The list literally goes on and on and on. And that's somebody who's on the low end of the income. If you're on the high income, higher end of the income, you might be starting out at 30%. Then you got to add state tax local tax, sales tax, personal property tax, real estate tax, and man, 40 to 50% out of every dollar goes to Uncle Sam in taxes. That's why it's hard to build wealth for most people. But if you start a business, particularly a business that you run out of your house, you're going to qualify for over 475 different tax deductions that come with running a business from a home. For instance, I'm in a spare bedroom in my house. I rent this house, so about 15% of my rent every single month, based on the size of my office in comparison to the rest of the house, is a tax write-off. I'm filming this on my cell phone, so part of my cell phone bill is a tax write-off. I'm using internet to upload it to YouTube, so part of my internet bill is a tax write-off. So you get tons and tons of tax write-offs, so that lowers your tax liability, and you bring that 40 to 50% down to a 20 to 25%, and that's huge because that money you save in taxes could be used to pay down debt and a whole bunch of other stuff, of course, to save, invest, and all that kind of stuff. So taxes is my number 2. And number 1 is buy time, right? Because one thing that you learn in network marketing, and I was hooked from the first time that someone drew circles on the board and they taught me a phrase called residual income. That's where you do the work one time and you get paid for it over and over and over and over again. And I fell in love with that. And then ultimately, eventually I learned terms like passive income, portfolio income, and stuff like that. So while yes, making more money is important in the old grand scheme of things when it comes to being an entrepreneur, but how the money is made is more important to me because I work for 3 things. I work for ownership, passive income, and residual income. Why? Because my most precious and most valuable asset is my time. And if I have to rely on my physical labor to make the money, then I'm limited in how much money I can make, because at the end of the day, I don't care how much you make per hour, there's still only so many hours in the day. So learning how to make passive and residual income buys back your time. And as fathers, we're called to be providers and protectors of our families. And you can provide from a job standpoint, but if you have to be away from your house 8, 10, 12, 16 hours at a time, sometimes days at a time, if you drive trucks or you travel for work, then your physical presence is not there to be the protector that you could be. But if you are making $30,000 a month passively, you wouldn't have to leave your house, right? And that's the type of income that I'm encouraging fathers to make, so that we can not only be better, more present in their households in which we are responsible for, but that also makes us more available to have a bigger, bolder presence in the communities that we serve. And in the Black community, for instance, there's 2 absent fathers, right? There's the absent father that just left their responsibilities altogether. And then there's the other absent father who is running towards their responsibilities by going to work every day, sometimes a job and a half, 2 jobs, a job and a half, and a side hustle. They're gone all the time, and you leave those who don't have the best of intentions to run amok in the community. And I believe if enough men had passive and residual income in their lives where they could be present in their community, that presence alone would curb a lot of the foolishness that goes on in our community. So those are my top 5 benefits of becoming an entrepreneur and working a business. And of course, there's a lot more than that, but those are my top 5. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, I got a free financial breakthrough masterclass in the descriptions for you guys to check out. It's about a 30-minute class. It will literally show you how to not only lower your taxes and all of that stuff, but it'll show you how to put an extra $500 to $1,000 in passive income in your household in the next 30 to 60 days. So flat out dope. Make sure you guys check that out, but don't forget to subscribe. And till next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.